Hey guys, so today I'm coming on here with a video all about the Detolf cage from IKEA. So as I revealed to you in my last pet room tour video, I did get my hamster a new cage, and it is the IKEA Detolf, and I also got the IKEA Expedit to go underneath it. So today I'm just going to be giving you some information about this cage, how it assembled, and just all information like my experience with it. Because I truly do think it is an awesome cage, and I wish everyone could have cages like this, because I think it's just a really amazing experience to see how your hamster's behavior changes when it's put into a larger cage with a more natural environment. I just really think it was pretty amazing. Now, my hamster's last cage, his bin cage, nothing was wrong with it. I mean, it was over 360 square inches, and I mean, it was working fine, but I just felt like Dumpling needed more space. It just seemed so constricting, and plus, it wasn't really aesthetically pleasing. I think bin cages are kind of ugly, so I kind of wanted to go with an aquarium, but I didn't want a full-on aquarium because I wanted a pretty big one, and I know they can get kind of expensive. So I was looking on some hamster forums, and I came across this cage, and I instantly fell in love with it. I've seen, like, images of these really natural looking hamster cages, and it's kind of always been like a dream of mine to have something like that, and I guess it's kind of a dream come true in a way. I'm still working with the design and the stuff to like go in it, like different products and bedding, but as of right now, Dumpling just seems to be loving it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information on the Detolf and the Expedit. So the Detolf is a glass cabinet. It's actually supposed to stand up vertically, but when you assemble it, if you just do not assemble like the shelving and the door for it, it turns into a really great aquarium. But obviously you can't put fish in it since it needs like silicone and stuff. So I'm just on my iPad, and I have some of the product information about the Detolf and the Expedit. I'm just on IKEA Canada. And the Detolf in Canada goes for $79.99, but I think it's regularly $90, but it's on sale right now. And the great thing about this cage is that you can buy it pretty much anywhere that has an IKEA, so like worldwide. So let's get on to the product dimensions. So its width is 43 centimeters, depth is 37 centimeters, and its height is 163 centimeters. But you have to take into consideration that it is being measured vertically and not horizontally, how you want to use it as a cage. So its height would actually be its length, and its depth would actually be its height, and the width would stay the same. So that's all about that. Now let's go on to the Expedit. Ooh, where are we? Oh, let's go over to product information. No, if we just move up here. Oh, this is really zoomed. Okay. So that is what the Expedit looks like. Again, it's supposed to be used vertically, and it's for $79.99 too. But you don't have to get this for your Detolf. You could get the one that's just like one, not double of the squares, but I wanted double since I wanted more storage. And you can get all different colors. So let's go into the product dimensions. So the width is 79 centimeters, depth is 39 centimeters, and height is 149 centimeters. And again, you have to do that little switching because it is being measured vertically again. And I know it does say here that its max load is 29 pounds, but it can hold more. That's just being measured when it's vertical, since it obviously can't hold as much weight since it has a higher center of gravity. So once you turn it around, it's much stronger. So it can hold more than that, since the Detolf is much more than that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little cage tour of my Detolf. It's not super great right now, as I've kind of gone with a natural theme, as many Detolfs do, and I don't really have a lot of stuff to do a natural theme with. So I've done my best. I went a little shopping at PetSmart to pick up some stuff, but over here we've got the kitchen area. I bought this water bottle holder, and just got his water bottle, he's got his veggie dish, and this is actually a hermit crab dish, but it just looks like a rock. The reptile area is a really great place to pick up more natural looking items, and I have this little second level that I got from IKEA as well. I'll explain about that later. His litter box with potty litter, a little herb and hay tunnel, and Dumpling's actually in there right now. He really likes it. I kind of like this because I've built up the aspen shavings right here, so it kind of mimics like a burrow den type thing. Over here, I've got that Barbell Chew, his comfort wheel. Then over here, this is actually driftwood, but I bought this at PetSmart for $10. It's in the reptile section, and it just, the hamster can kind of climb underneath it, and it looks really cool. And I just had to stuff it with some, like, I don't even know what this is called, like construction paper, because it is a little, the hole here was kind of big but kind of small, and I didn't think Dumpling would be able to fit in there. He might get stuck, so I just closed it up. I got a little hay ball. There's his chinchilla bass sand, which I kind of have a question for people who use chinchilla bass sand. I was wondering if you guys actually keep it in 24/7 in their cage, or if you take it out, because I know lots of people use sand pits, but I noticed Dumpling, when he was digging in it, he got it like around his nose, and it kind of stuck there, and it looked a little bit red and irritated, so I kind of cleaned it off, but I don't know, I'm just kind of unsure if I should keep it in there or not. And then we got a Fiddlesticks Log. I've separated this area with a piece of cardboard, and this is like his burrowing area. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, I've put in some tunnels going through, and I just have hay, Boxo, Carefresh, and Aspen, and Dumpling loves burrowing in here. This is like one of his favorite places to go. So this cage is quite big, as you can see. It goes on very long. It's more of a narrower cage, but it has a lot of square inches, and I think that's really important. So yeah, Dumpling really liked it. So now I'll kind of get on to the assembly type part. Okay, so I got them at IKEA. I brought them home. The Expedit was pretty easy to assemble since it was just like wooden pegs. I definitely recommend like doing it with like a parent if you're young, or you could probably do it by yourself. Some of the things were hard to push in, but that's kind of the same with all IKEA furniture. And then the Expedit, now that was a different story. That was a bit harder. I think the main problem that me and my mom had was we tried to build it on the Expedit, like right on it, and that was a problem since, as you can see, the ends, they come down since the ends are a bit longer than the actual glass, and they're not at the same width. So that's why if you don't buy the Expedit or something, you need some type of support underneath it, because if the ends are sitting on there, the glass won't be like right on the table, and it might buckle a bit. So I don't know about that too much, but if you go on a hamster forum, you're sure to find lots of information. But yeah, that was a bit harder, so we had to move it off of that and put it back together. The only difficult part was keeping the glass up while tightening the wires, because as you can see, there's bars going through the whole thing. But overall, I mean, it wasn't that difficult. And remember, you do not assemble the shelves or the door to it, since obviously you don't want it to be totally glass. So I actually followed instructions off of Hamster Hideout. A member named Azaleas created a whole thing on it, like a whole instructional thing, since you actually can't like follow the instructions they give you because it's telling you how to set it up vertically and you want to set it up horizontally. So he did like really great detailed instructions with pictures, and it was very helpful. So I'm going to leave a link down below to that person, since it was a really great like tutorial article-y type thing. I just found it really helpful. I really do recommend, if you're looking for inspiration to make your cage kind of more natural, I really recommend going onto the German hamster sites, just because their cages are always just amazing. I'm so jealous of them, but they really do give me inspiration for new ideas on how to make my cage a bit more fun, a bit more interesting. So yeah, I really do recommend that. I think if you look that up, and one of the forums that I was on, one of the hamster forums, gave a link to one of the websites, and I don't remember what it was. I'm kind of sad about that now, so I can't leave a link to it. But it was half in English, half in German, and the English part had all these things that you could buy at IKEA that were natural and you could use for your hamster. And one of them was that little magazine file, if you can see right over there. Those are just the Nuff magazine files. I just have it right beside me on my iPad at IKEA. And it comes with 2 of them, and they're just made from untreated wood, so they have no stain or anything on them. So they're perfectly hamster safe, and they work really great as a second level. And for 2 of them, it costs $13. So not too bad. And your hamster can hide in it as well as go on top of it. And it's not too steep for them to jump up on. So really do recommend it. I so wish I could remember that German site, but I can't anymore. So, yeah. Okay, so for the floor space, it is about 1,088 square inches, or 7,019 centimeters squared, whichever one you're using. And the minimum for a hamster cage should be 360 square inches. So this is almost 3 times the minimum, which I think is great since Dumpling's old cage was just a little bit over the minimum. So now he has tons of space to run back and forth and, yeah, explore. I don't know, I just really love it. Now, the only thing about this is that it does not come with a lid, obviously. It would be a glass slab, and you don't want to do that since that's no air circulation. So right now, I am just using that mesh, if you can see right there, and on a part of it, I'm just using some styrofoam. Most of it is mesh, just a part of it is styrofoam. Now, I did have a question on my last video, can your hamster escape? I've read on a few forums that people don't think they're like smaller dwarf hamsters could escape, but Syrians could. And personally, I know my Syrian Dumpling wouldn't escape with all this fun stuff to do, but just to be safe, I have been putting the mesh and the styrofoam over it for right now until my dad can actually build a lid for me. I'm planning on doing one that kind of opens like that. If you can kind of see what I'm doing, sorry. But, you know, it'll kind of open out that way. Not just have one lid, but have 2 lids since it's so long. Now, this cage is definitely not for everybody, just because it needs a lot of room since it is very long. But luckily, I had this little area of my room, because see, there's a little wall right there, and then the walls over there, that it fit perfectly. Plus, it can be kind of expensive in some people's opinion for a cage, but how I think of it is that if you're going to buy an aquarium that big, or a pretty big aquarium, it's going to cost more than that. So $80 for an aquarium that size isn't too bad. So I don't really think it's too expensive. I think the Expedit, buying it with the Expedit can get kind of expensive, but again, that's not necessary. I mean, there's other options you could do. So I do think it's a good deal if you have enough room to house this cage.